Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to this, the Oliver Sport NZ Classic. We are here at the Faser Park, and it is the Hutt City Squash Club. A couple of matches, or a couple of courts being streamed live. Thank you very much to NTech for that. And as you can see on this particular court, the main court at the present time, it is our first match of the evening. And the left-hander, and that is Lily Rowe. From Lily Ray, oh my goodness, we're getting there. Put on the glasses for this one. Lily Ray from Timaru, the 19-year-old. The left-hander, she is up against Maidenly Co, 15-year-old from the Mana Club and also the Thorndon Club as well, here in the Wellington region. So a couple of teenagers there, and you can see the other matches coming up on the main court tonight. It is Tom Marshall, he's the 17-year-old out of the Marlborough region, up against Joseph Watts from the Manawatu area, still claiming that he is the best of the Watts siblings. We'll check on that, Joseph. Caitlin might have something to say on that. The third match tonight, well, that is Jenna Gregory from the Havelock North Club up against Katie Templeton from Katikati in the Bay of Plenty. And then, of course, Evan Williams, the NZ champion, world number 79, up against Oliver Dunbar from the Wellington region. He's just the 15-year-old, one of the better juniors at his age. And the second to last match of the night on this particular court, well, Will's Donnelly out of Tapal, formerly Gisborne. Well, that's where he came from originally. He has a world ranking of 238 in the world, and he's up against Brian Tapal. And Brian, I'm no doubt, will be having some little bets there with a few people about how many points he'll get. Probably be saying how many sets he'll get. And then we have Alan Bailey out of the Manawatu region, bit of a character out of his region, up against Cameron Scott as well. So plenty of good matches there coming up on the main court on this, the opening day of the Oliver Sport NZ Classic. Remember, it's 16-player draw in both the men's and the women's. We have 7 players in the women's draw who have PSA world rankings, and 4 out of the men's draw. And this is, of course, a PSA satellite, and good to have some of our officials from around the country here as well. We've got 6 courts here in this particular court, this particular complex. In fact, there's a lot of different sports out of the Faser Park, Rico Park here. We've got, I think, softball, squash, baseball. I think we've got football as well. Rugby, what else? Yeah, a whole heap of sports out of this particular region and out of this particular club as well. So there we go, we've got our players here. It is the youngster, well, she's only 15 in the black there, that is Maidenly Co, and Lily Ray, the left-hander from Timaru. And let's get ready, I think we've got the word there from the officials.
Lily Ray to serve, Maidenly Co to receive, best of 5 games, love all.
Go, they're ready and underway with Lily Ray to start, and we will be having various players, former players, a few from the tournament as well, joining me as we go throughout the night, and certainly throughout the tournament. Of course, on Sunday it is the women's final, 12:30, followed by the men's. And don't forget the seeded players, I guess you could say the seeded players in the women's draw to meet, if everything goes to plan, would be Emma Miller and Caitlin Watts. They played in 3 PSA Challenger finals throughout this year, and 3 finals. All 3 of those finals went to Caitlin Watts, and then of course there was a quarterfinal at the Auckland Open, which was the victory there for Emma Miller. So that's the seedings. In the men's, of course, you've got world number 79. And a bit of a, well, you wouldn't say a burglar, but it's his club as well. Evan Williams there. And other players that could be up to challenge him for the finals. You have Chris van der Sam out of Wanganui, Wills Donnelly, and also Glenn Templeton as the other PSA ranked players. But in the meantime, we're underway here. 4-2 And I haven't quite got onto any rallies. 5-2 now. Let's see what Gregory can do with her serve on the backhand side for her. And the error from the back of the court. And the players both just need to settle down a little bit, find some rhythm. Oh, nice cross court there from Maidenly Co. Just checking on the score for her. And she does have a PSA ranking. She only turned 15 early this year. So plenty of time for her. And retrieving that one. Good play. Oh, the reaction volleys from both players. And that one coming in on the backhand side. And then she's hitting away. And certainly checking the scoreline all the time there, Maidenly Co. And both players keen to get on with it. There's no rest in between points. Yeah, it's a bit of a fast-moving tournament, I think. Fast-moving match so far. Lily Ray, a bit frustrated. Maybe she wants a bit more structure to it. And the error off the serve there. As points quickly turn around from 2-4 down to now 7-5 with Co. And the winner of this match, well, likely that they'd play Caitlin Watts, who is coming in as the top seed. She has the current PSA ranking of 123. Emma Miller, 107. Doesn't really matter whether you want to call them top seed, second seed.
9-5.
And at 9-5 for Co at the moment. And from the left-hand side, almost runs to the serve. And from the deep in the forehand corner, and heading it into the tin. So let's see what Ray can come back with here. Nice deep serve. And
7-9.
comes back with an extra point. Still haven't quite seen building here, but for these players, they're from a region which can play squash, but they haven't necessarily played too many tournaments of late. And the little dip into the forehand corner for Co. And a good play there from Ray as she comes back. And just 1 point away. Nice shot there, just the right place for Ray to hit down and hit the winner. And fighting back, big high serve. And flicking it across court, so good work for the Ray. Not so good on the bounce of the ball, bouncing on her foot. But now she has the first game point. So a bit of a topsy-turvy first game. The expressions on both players' faces here certainly tells the story. That's good play by Co. Right up in a good position, and it knew that her opponent was having to come forward. And then back off the volley. So this is the second first game point for Ray. She had one earlier on. Co's had one. Oh, very high serve. And into the turn. No one wants to win this first game at the moment.
Game ball.
And it's switched around yet again with the second game point for Co. So we've had a couple there for Ray, and I'm not sure about the angle on that one. Stayed in.
And out 13 all.
So back to 13 all. A nice slice under the ball, kind of chopped under the backhand, the left-handed Ray. And as we switch around again, let's see if Ray can finish it off on game point number 3. Nice change of direction there. And no, the chop under it didn't work on the backhand this time. So back to 14 all. Yeah, could play off the forehand volley, coming close to the body, and played that one down and through. So Co switches around. This is her third game ball. Nice deep serve. Stay in. And there you go. It is 16-14. Took a little while to get there. And you have a go. No, you have a go. But 16-14, the first game there for Maidenly Co against Lily Ray.
Seconds. Time. Maidenly leads 1 game to love. Love all.
And back in for the second game of this first match on the main court here. And we can tell you that, well, it was really you take the first game. No, you take the first game, because from my reckoning, my very bad maths, it was Maidenly Co winning on her third game ball after Lily Ray had had 3 game balls for that first one. And now just into the first couple of points. A few errors, as you could imagine, because I guess that's the way it sort of starts when you haven't played too many competitive matches with officials, with people watching. And of course, this Oliver Sport NZ Classic, it was meant to be the NZ champs, the Oliver Sport NZ champs on at the present time, but well, we all know what's occurred around the country and around the world, holding people at bay, particularly those from Auckland and Waikato. However, we do have some very good players in attendance for this tournament, the 16-player men's draw, 16-player women's draw. And as we mentioned already, when you've got the national champions such as Emma Miller and also Evan Williams, players like that who are ranked in the top 100 or thereabouts, and a number of juniors who will be able to compete with them and really get some good match play, and particularly good for someone like Maidenly Co. 15, and that one not up there from Lily Ray on this occasion, so to 4-all. Lily Ray has been pretty good junior for teams out of Timaru, good South Island junior, and just checking on the score there. And for which side?
Maiden called it let as she hit it.
She's lit.
So looking at a let, and both.
Left box.
Which side? Okay, we're back on the left side. Yep, and 4-all, not 5-4. And that one not quite up. All right, so the players just taking a little while, and some of the umpires as well, some of the officials just taking a bit of while. That one really went back on that. Let's see if Lily Ray can go forward. Oh.
Stroke for Maidenly.
Stroke for Maidenly, yeah. I think we had Lily Ray pretty much running into the racket. And don't forget, later on this evening we do have Evan Williams up against one of the better juniors here in the Wellington region, Oliver Dunbar. Good to see a lot of players from around the country, different parts of the country, competing in this tournament. We've got 3 of them from the South Island. Lily Ray, Tom Marshall, he's in there as well. And got another one in there. We'll just go through our draw. And yeah, that's Thomas Pickles from Oamaru. Oh, nice angle. Oh, good running from Co. And another just chopping under that backhand. Co's really started to get a little bit stronger, physically stronger. It's good to see that from her. Also quite a bit taller as well, but beaten on that one in the end. And as we said, that Co has recently, this year, turned 15 and now has a PSA ranking.
And out, 8-6.
And couldn't quite get to that one, Co. So Lily Ray fighting back. And on her serve takes a big stride across. Taken on the full there. Certainly Co has no issue taking the ball on the full. And stretching out for that one, Ray, but couldn't quite make use of it. I think she was trying to do a drop. Haven't seen too many drop shots so far from either player. And a couple of errors coming in from both players. It's just a matter of the focus. It's nice to see a young player who is particularly a female player going forward to the ball. And that is something that Co has really done very well. You tend to see, oh, that's a big service error for Ray. And gives the game point to Co. Let's see if we can go forward. And the error. So Maidenly Co up by 2 games to love at the moment. And I'll be pretty happy with that. She gets a little bit of a break in between the games.
Maidenly leads 2 games to 1. Sorry, correction, 2 games to love. 2 love. Love all.
And underway again with this first match on the main court. We can tell you though that Caitlin Watts has won her first round contest. And that was 3 games to love, so she's through to the second round. Congratulations there to Caitlin Watt. Had a win over Emma Sanchez-Brown, one of the local players. So well done there to Caitlin Watts, just cruising through. She will play her second round match, quarter-final match that is at 6 p.m. No, that's 10:20 a.m. Apologies for that. So she gets her quarter-final match tomorrow. And in the meantime, quite a fiercely fought match between Maidenly Co and Lily Ray, the 2 teenagers here. Certainly opportunities. And let there just the expression on Maidenly Co's face.
She was actually out of the road, but she didn't realise she was.
Quite expressive.
Yeah, it was a safety.
Not sure if she was thinking that she'd given away a stroke. In the end, it was a let, and the point goes to Lily Ray. So let's see what the left-hander can do now. She's down 2 games to love. Possibly should have taken the first. She had 3 game balls. And double bounce there. Much better structured point from Lily Ray. And just a little bit late into that ball. Died a little bit there. And still smiling, Maidenly Co, even after she didn't quite reach that one. Yeah, well played. And you had Lily Ray moving forward towards the front wall. And the Co seemed to realise that and played it deep into the backhand. And the that is on Lily Ray. And the error into the tin there. So nice effort so far with Maidenly Co. Up by 2 games to love and a couple points bonus here. And if she wins this, well, she'll take on Caitlin Watts in the next round. So that'll be an interesting one. That's a 10:20 a.m. match, that particular one. And that'll be a good test for someone such as a 15-year-old against Caitlin Watts, who's still young herself, but certainly not more experienced. And good for young players to take on the high-ranked players and get competitive. And she's always seems very happy and full of energy on the court. And let's see what the 19-year-old Lily Ray can actually do from here. And looking at coming under the ball, just chopping at it so it stayed low. Not quite working for her though. And there was a call from the referee. They haven't heard the call though. It's out. Quite a nice point though. One of the better points. So, one of the better points of the game, but it was out.
Right side. 9-5. 5, match ball.
And the match ball now for Maidenly Co. Let's see if she can finish it off in straight, albeit that the first one was pretty tough, and she does finish it on straight. I think the players have forgotten they actually need to touch rackets or elbows or anything like that. No hugs, but what the heck. They're both from, well, one from Wellington, one from Timaru. They don't seem to mind on that one. So a very nice victory there. It is 14, 9 and 5 to Maidenly Co. And a good win there for the 15-year-old. And just doing a little couple of chats to her, for instance, supporters there off the court. And certainly quite happy with that one. And she earns a match against Caitlin Watts tomorrow. So that'll be a good one to watch at 10:20 to see how the youngster goes against the more experienced opponent. And in fact, the top seed as well. So coming up not too far away, our next match on court. And I think that next one on court should be Joseph Watts against Tom Marshall. You speak and it comes up automatically. I love that. Tom Marshall out of Marlborough District and Joseph Watts out of Manawatu. Should be a fun match for that one. Not too far away.
Yeah, occasionally they go to sleep down front. Yeah. No, thank you, madam. That's all I was telling you last time. My technique completely disappeared. Did you notice that? It was gone. Oh, I felt it. Yeah, it was alright.
How long have we got?
How long have we got, John?
How much longer? About 2 minutes? Oh, yeah, just like a bit of a head around.
And welcome back in for this, the second match on the main court. And as you can see, the two players, Joseph Watts from Manawatu and Tom Marshall from Marlborough. We've had one match completed on this main court, and Maidenly Co winning there against Lily Ray in straight games, albeit the first game was 16-14, second 11-9, and the third 11-5. Also the top seed in the women's draw of the Oliver Sport NZ Classic, Caitlin Watts, coming through in straight games in her first match as well. And joining me now is one of the two Fletchers at Squash NZ, Jason Fletcher. We've got John Fletcher doing some of the tournament organising here, and Jason Fletcher from Manawatu. So you can help me out with a bit of Joseph Watts' history. I saw you chat to him just before he went on court. Was it a team talk, or was that about something else?
Yeah, I just sort of checked with Joseph how much he's been playing lately, and he's come out of retirement especially for this event. And yeah, I think he's still got the same shorts he had 10 years ago when he played for Central. Yeah, Joseph, I know Joseph well. He used to be a member at the squash gym in Palmerston North, and he was part of our academy program. And yeah, he got into the, I think, top 3 at juniors, and he was a top 10 player at seniors as well. And I was talking to him earlier in his PSA ranking, he got up to 169 when he was playing.
Okay, so I thought it was a top 200, but 169, he'll be happy for me to mention that, because during this year we've had a lot of PSA tournaments around the Auckland and Waikato Northland region, and Caitlin, his younger sister, well, there's I think 8 of them in the family, 8 siblings in the family. He did happen to express that he was still the favourite child out of all of them, and the favourite child when it came to squash. And there was a little bit of banter going backwards and forwards on Facebook. Caitlin stayed out of it, which is probably the best thing to do. Although in one of the commentaries I accidentally did mention that, Joseph, you didn't win any challenger titles, whereas your sister just won 3 in a row in in New Zealand. There was quite a bit of banter coming back from other people at Joseph on that one, that he had lost his favourite child status. As he gets underway here, you can see that Joseph Watts got the green shorts, or the green stripe on the shorts, and down the t-shirt there. Tom Marshall, a pretty good junior. In fact, over the last year, I think it was in where was it? Christchurch last year with the juniors, and also in Remuera Club. He's done very well in the 2 junior events as a 17-year-old. He's got a lot of promise. Let's see what he can do against the, shall we call it the experience?
The
of someone like
experience,
Joseph
yes.
Watts.
I think you prefer we said the experience, yes.
But this is very good for someone, for a teenager anyway, to play against someone who, as you said, has been one of the top 3 juniors in New Zealand. Let's see what he can do here on the serve. And you can see Marshall trying to get up and hold his position near the tee.
Well, great shot there. He took advantage of that loose lob.
He's one of these players who does like to go forward, and I just like seeing that in the junior, because so often in the juniors there's the temptation to just hang back a little bit and play out a long rally.
Yeah, I think they, especially the boys, like to use their fitness against some of the more experienced players, and tend to run a lot rather than look to use their racket skills. So it's good to see young players actually trying to use their racket skills and to put the ball away when they can.
There's a little bit of unorthodox play away from the body there. from Marshall, but it was effective. And that's another good thing, that he can play the legitimate shots, and then something I wouldn't say was illegitimate, but it certainly wasn't textbook.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of skill development around skill adaptability in all sports actually. So being able to adapt to different situations rather than the same thing all the time, because the game's so dynamic, and being able to adjust has been a pretty powerful skill to have in all sport.
Well, this is the other thing for players like Marshall, who might end up playing a whole lot of 17-year-olds, maybe 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, but then you come against Joseph, who's, I'm thinking late 20s now or something like that, where it just changes the whole dynamic, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
How they play, you get used to how a junior plays against you, and it's I wouldn't say it's boring, but it's same. And you come up against someone different.
Yes, I think you get used to patterns, and you get used to playing a few different players. The same players, you get used to their patterns they play, and when you play somebody different, you've got to adjust to a different style of game.
Nice lead now for Tom Marshall. He hasn't slowed down. He seems to be playing quite a structured game at the moment, so that's good. He knows what he wants to do. A little bit of a boast there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Joseph copes with having not played much lately, the physical aspect of the game, and it looks like Tom's putting a lot of pressure on and moving him around a bit.
And both players couldn't quite hear can't always hear the score, so looking up, if you see them looking up, there is a scoreboard just out of the camera range, and that's where the players will go up. So quite a number of people coming in here to the venue. That is here at the Hutt City Squash Club, Faser Park. Rico, the sponsor of the venue. There's about 6 or 7 sports out of here, which is great to see.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I think that's probably where sporting venues have to amalgamate with other sports to get better facilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And councils are now looking for multi-use, so they get broader community use.
And that's where someone like you, Jason, working for Sport Manawatu 2 as well, still doing some work for them. You've got a good understanding of that sort of thing. I'm sure that's very much the case in the Manawatu 2.
Yeah, that's right, yep. So anywhere where you can share services or...
Good play there from Tom Marshall just to get that point, blasting away the backhand cross court, and now their first game point.
Bit of an unusual serve there, which almost caught Joseph out actually, which is probably quite clever.
So you were saying, Jason, about in Manawatu 2, the facilities?
Yeah, there's definitely councils and partnering with other sports are more favourable, especially these days.
Well, it was a nice start there for Joseph Watts, but it's sort of just got whittled away and then raced away for Tom Marshall, the teenager out of Marlborough, as he takes the first game 11-3. And Jason Fletcher, just a quick word on that first game. It sort of really did race away in the end, didn't it?
It did, yeah. I think Tom did really well to keep the pressure on Joseph and sort of challenged his movement and took advantage, I suppose, of Joseph not being able to play much recently.
There's Tom Marshall for you. A bit of rehydration. And nice work there. Quite a tall young lad. And we'll come back with the second game in just a moment. We can tell you that Glenn Templeton against Thomas Pickles on the other court, if you need to know that one, is up 6-1 in the first game. So back with the second game here on the main court in just 1 moment. Well, good first game from Tom Marshall, the teenager. And yeah, really applied the pressure, Jason Fletcher, against Joseph Watts. Nice to see Joseph playing in the tournament, of course, and good to have a variety of players. Some younger teenagers and some a bit more experienced.
Yeah, it is great to see good variety. It's you know, with the number of different changes, obviously with the challenges of getting the event going, but it's great to see the events actually got underway and the players sort of been able to get here and play and make an event of it.
Well, we might actually have to ask Caitlin what she's going to say to her brother after this one. She's almost within reach. She's just going to look at me and go, "Get out of here." In the meantime, Tom Marshall with a couple of points here. That's a nice angle too. Gee, held the ball well on that one, didn't he?
Yeah, great. He was looking to get forward and hit the ball early, which is fantastic.
And what about your own squash, Jason? How are you going? You're out of squash gym, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm a double specialist these days, so so I need a friend on the other side of the court to help me out. But yeah, doubles seems to be the new golf, if you like. Keeping a lot of players in the game and really getting some traction around the country. Actually, a number of people playing doubles, and there's lots of doubles tournaments and events, and not just the national ones, but also club events and a lot of social doubles being played. Well, players of all levels and grades and ages too, which is great.
Well, your club did hold the doubles nationals, I think it was earlier this year,
yeah,
because that's a big part of, first of all, there's World Champs, but also Commonwealth Games as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So traditionally, we've got a very good history in the doubles at Commonwealth Games, won a lot of medals.
Much better shot there from Joseph Watts, gets one back. Nice cross-court backhand. If he can get forward to the ball, yeah, he's got a lot more advantage there, but let's see if he can actually get forward. He's been kept in the back corner there. Nice shot. Do a lot of stretching. They may feel this tomorrow.
Yes, I think you might go and see the chiropractor that's been provided for the tournament afterwards.
Yeah. Got an early boast on that one. And he's got advantage in this rally. Didn't quite play that deep enough.
He looks like he's getting a little bit more further forward in the set, actually. So he's been able to try to counter some of that pressure by adding some of his own. Oh, yeah, great shot. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just checking a bit of a heave there from Tom Marshall, like shoulder shudder, and it helps.
Oh, he's so he's he didn't like that drop shot, so he thought he would put that one into the nick. Great shot. Oh, he's had another go. He's a bit wild, that one though.
Much better couple of rallies here in the second game, and Marshall's been able to still come back as Joseph Watts challenges him a lot more after dropping the first pretty quickly. And the winner of this match will take on either Evan Williams or Oliver Dunbar. That will be 11 o'clock tomorrow. So that'll be a good contest, whoever gets through.
Players looking just to consolidate a wee bit here. Just
great shot, yeah, longer rallies, but well played. I like that out of a teenager to actually be able to go forward and then be able to drop.
He took advantage of a short ball and another good shot there.
He's reeling out all these winners now, isn't he?
You look like Joseph was coming back in the set, and Tom's just now starting to pull up another bit of a lead. Another shot there, which once again tested the movement.
Well, that's good to see. He doesn't mind having a go. Yeah. He's happy to play a long rally, but then doesn't mind just going one more shot and cross court or a drop. maybe just a little bit tight on the muscles to reach to that one. Looked as though he was in a good position, but not quite.
And it's good to see him get forward onto that early too again, that volley.
Yeah, certainly quite impressive from Tom Marshall. Over the last year, he's really improved his game. Doesn't mind coming forward. He's getting physically stronger. He's always been quite tall, but just that little bit of strength as well helps him hold his position on the court, particularly against bigger or older people. And there we go, second game to Marshall. And you've got to be pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, no, it's
Jason
really,
Fletcher.
as we mentioned, it's great to see a young player step forward, use his racket skills, and apply some pressure. And even when he got down early in that set, he settled down and got a couple of bigger rallies in, and then sort of took advantage later in the set when Joseph got a bit tired.
Seconds.
And so the players back on the court now for this, the third game. We're in the first round matches of the Oliver Sport NZ Classic here at the Hutt City Squash Club. And a couple of players coming through so far. It looks like out your right side on this one, Jason Fletcher. We've got Glenn Templeton winning that game in 3 over Thomas Pickles.
Yeah, 3-0, that's right. Yep.
Okay, so well done there for Glenn Fletcher over Oamaru's Thomas Pickles. And a couple of other results from earlier in the matches so far. We had Maidenly Co in 3 games, albeit a tough couple. First couple against Lily Ray, and Caitlin Watts winning her first round match as well in straight games. So as we get into this, the third, we've seen some very good play from Tom Marshall and Jason Fletcher. You've been pretty impressed with how he's played?
Yeah, I have actually. That volley drop there was, he set that up well and executed the shot well and put the ball away nicely. So it's good to see this from a young player and executing his shots, but being, making good decisions and doing it as well.
There hasn't been any panic when he's got himself into trouble in a point. He's stayed calm and then been able to quite often reel off a winner, or at least work his way back into the point. So, I've been very impressed. I mean, if he wins through this, he's likely to take on Evan Williams. That'll be another test, a bit more experience, and good for him to actually play as well, 79 in the world.
Yes, yeah. But it's always a good opportunity to play somebody like that, and sometimes you sort of lift yourself when you're playing somebody that's well ahead of you. So it'll be interesting to see who gets that opportunity and how he goes. Yeah, it's a great drive down the line there, and I got Joseph wrong-footed.
You're expecting the cross-court backhand, which still probably would have worked, but
Yes.
that was fantastic. He was tied up against the wall as well. So
It was a bit wild, that one, but he might have got away with it, actually. Went for the tricky boast.
yeah. Some original play coming in, maybe. He can certainly put a bit of power into the ball as Tom Marshall.
Yeah, look how far forward he is. He's right up by the short line there, and it's putting a lot of pressure on Joseph.
It's quite a good serve, though, pushed him right to the back. And yeah,
Oh, you got a little tricky one in there.
yeah, it was a little bit unorthodox, hit it off balance.
Oh,
How are you going to call that one? What do you call that? It was a boast from the back of the court with a bit of a roll.
straight into the nick. Yeah. So Joseph, so you're going for that. And
Yeah. Well, those couple of shots there, slightly unorthodox shots, have brought him back to 4-all. Let's see how Marshall responds.
you also like how he mixes his pace of the game up. Over the years, I've seen a lot of juniors sort of play one pace, and it's really good to see a young player actually mixing the pace of the game and the strokes as well.
Yeah, that is certainly something. As the players get older, they start doing that. But we've just seen a 15-year-old Maidenly Co who is learning to do that as well and getting a little bit physically stronger. With Marshall, he's obviously, because of playing out of Marlborough or in Christchurch as well, he's got to play against a lot of adults, so he does have to mix things up a little bit, and that's a key thing for him.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed how he's played, actually.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to him potentially playing against Evan Williams 11 o'clock tomorrow. That'll be a really good match. Just to see what he can actually do. Can he do the same thing? Evan doesn't give away free points, ever.
Yeah, it's definitely be a different kettle of fish, but yeah, it'll be a good opportunity for the youngster.
Nice deep serve, a good serve there from Watts.
Yeah. A bit of a fist pump there from Joseph. He
Got a. I don't know where the pace of the ball went, but it certainly went. He's in good position here again, Tom Marshall. Let's see what he can do.
yeah, good. Yeah, picked that cross court and was able to get across early and cut it off, which was a great shot.
He was so far forward to the ball as well.
And there again, yeah, picked it up again. Saw that cross court coming early and was able to get across. Great shot again.
Obviously a lot of confidence in his own ability to take the ball on the full.
Oh,
Not quite on that one. Yeah,
no, you got
no,
that
it
one,
worked
yeah.
out.
Great,
Sorry.
it's a great shot, yeah. It's a great shot from the back and used a lot, by the top players in the world. And he finished off with a rolling nick. What a way to finish.
Nice little wrap up there. So I guess you can go and give him a few words. Joseph Watts, although he's got a couple of other people helping him out there as well. But Jason Fletcher, I think for that match, we're going to be pretty impressed with Tom Marshall going through to the second round. You were pretty happy with the way he played?
Yeah, look, as we mentioned throughout the match, seeing him mix up the pace of the game and looking to get forward and hit the ball early was really impressive, and he was able to apply pressure on Joseph by doing that, and we saw at the end there he was sort of reading what Joseph was doing, getting across and playing those volleys, and obviously finished it off impressively, and it's great to see a young player looking to get forward and create opportunities and then take them.
Well, he seems very relaxed afterwards as well, and just a bit of a tap there.
Yeah, I think Mum's pretty happy, so
Yeah.
found a way to support him as well, which is great to see.
That's good. I mean, he's doesn't look too puffed. Just a little towel down, bit of water, bit of rehydration, and seems pretty happy with that one. So well done there for Tom Marshall through to the second round, 11-3, 11-5, 11-6 over Joseph Watts. And as you can see, coming up next, Katie Templeton against Jenna Gregory, the two teenagers from the North Island. They're one from the Bay of Plenty, that's Templeton, and Jenna Gregory from Havelock North. We'll be back with that one very shortly.
I don't want you to mark the next one because you're doing quite fast, so I want you to
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go watch one.
Oh, yeah.
you need to make sure you're correct. I know, I saw it.
First one was really exciting. Not like a it's just real casual, slow months. You ever heard of
I know. But you know what will happen, John? I'll try to drink and my mask will be on. Oh, it's all right. Hey, what up? Go there, Chuck. I was it's up. I thought you played really well. Yeah. Yeah. It's really hot. I love it.
Had it
Donnelly to sell for this wash channel. And it's been sitting in the freezer for a couple of weeks now. And I said, not one or 2 weeks, it's mine. And have you not? You're selling it. You're selling it. You'll sell it to your face. My mum's Yeah, right. Okay, see ya. I could be, but I'd also be using bread and then, yeah, and then it's just probably
And so welcome back in for this, the third match on the main court. We're here at the Oliver Sport NZ Classic in Wellington at the Hutt City Squash Club. We've had a couple of results on the main court already today. Maidenly Co winning over Lily Ray. And Tom Marshall in straight games, 11-3, 11-5 and 11-6 over Joseph Watts. In fact, Tom Marshall is joining me right now. And Tom, well done on the win. That's a handy win against a different sort of player, a former top junior in New Zealand. A little bit older now, though, but you had a good match over him.
Yeah, it was good pushing forward in the later game because I could read his cross courts and good to push forward and volley those.
I mean, you really did go forward. That was the key thing.
Yeah.
Jason Fletcher and I were watching you play, and we're like, gee, really is confident going forward and taking a lot of volleys. And against someone who has a few unorthodox shots, as I think Joseph every now and then brought those unorthodox shots out, you were able to go forward and take it early.
Yeah, these courts are pretty true to their bounce. They play like the ones in Marlborough where I'm from. And they're really hot. I was really sweating there. But I
mean, it's been quite a warm day in Wellington, and so you really were putting on. That wasn't just fake stuff out there. That was true sweat.
Yeah, that was.
And you know, for you to come up and actually play this from Marlborough, it's you know, a good idea for you to come up and play and have a nice win first up, and potentially tomorrow you could take on Evan Williams. It would be quite fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It'll be a good experience. Not expecting to win against him. He's a top-class player.
Yeah, top 100. When you get someone ranked 79 in the world, he's been to Commonwealth Games and New Zealand teams, and he's a national champion as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Hopefully one day I'll get him though. Maybe it'll be tomorrow.
Well, the thing is, you know, it'll be such a different opponent again. Someone who's experienced, you know, knows the club very well. It's his club, but also a left-hander as well. You play against many left-handers?
Yeah, I played against a lot when I was younger. The top juniors, Freddie Jamison and Noah Thomas. They were really good left-handers, and I've been battling with them over the years. So I've got some experience playing them.
Yeah, well, Freddie from Northland in particular has just come back into the game this year after having a year off with injuries and surgery and all sorts of things. So that's been pretty tough for him. But for you, I seem to recall in the last couple of junior tournaments, there was one at Remuera earlier this year, and then last year in Christchurch, you did quite well in junior events. What's your best result?
Is that from
best result in the juniors nationals? I think in Christchurch last year.
I think I finished fifth.
Finished fifth, and what about earlier this year? Was there a juniors this year? Well, gee, it's been such a strange year.
No, that was put off because of COVID. But I played South Island juniors.
Right.
I won that.
That's not too bad, winning that.
Yeah, it's good because there's no nationals. It's good to have a good junior tournament there.
Yeah. Well, it's a real shame about the nationals. They were going to be in where was it? Timaru this year.
Yeah.
And it would have been great for you guys in the South Island. Made a bit of fuss about you that there's three of you here.
Yeah.
That you know, it's nice to actually play in your own area, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to keep on flying all the time or flying so much all the time.
Yeah, I've played a bit at Timaru courts. Yeah.
And that's a good club, so hopefully in the future they'll have another tournament there.
Yeah, it's a really good club. Run really well, organised really well. Hopefully they'll have another tournament there soon, yeah.
And just on this particular match here, this first round women's, just a little bit of applause for Katie Templeton, a strong backhand shot. Templeton there in the black against Jenna Gregory. Gregory from the Havelock North Club, and Katie Templeton from Caddy in the Bay of Plenty. He likes to hit the ball with a lot of power. And nice little, what have we got there for the call? And as you heard the call, yes, let. As these two teenagers, certainly a lot of power. And Caddy Templeton probably not that much subtlety on some of the shots sometimes, but that is the first game there to Jenna Gregory, 11-2. And Tom Marshall, will just stay with you. Who's coaching you at the moment? Who's your main coach?
My main coach, Paul Rowan,
Okay.
from Marlborough.
Yeah. So that's in Blenheim.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've got is there 2 clubs in Blenheim or one? There's one at the school, is that right?
Yeah, the Marlborough College Old Boys Club.
And that's pretty strong.
Yeah, I think top member there, then Chris Everett behind me, and then Jack Friskin. But yeah, I train a lot with those guys at both clubs.
And what about family playing? You've got a bit of family playing as well?
Yeah, well, my mum and dad play casually, and they got me into it. And my sister plays as well, Leonie Marshall.
Yeah, I've spoken to Leonie before. A bit of a personality on the court and off the court actually as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She loves the game, but she's probably more someone who plays for a bit of fun, but has done pretty well out of the South Island as well.
Yeah, she is training for senior nationals. She was going to come and play, but because that was off, she's into her horse riding.
That's right.
So she didn't play the squash classic.
Yeah, good to see her when she does play. She loves getting out on the court, but yeah, she has commented before about her horse riding and horse training. And for you, I mean, obviously you're in you're 16. I keep on calling you 17, and my apologies for that. I've aged you about 4 months. I think your birthday's in January, so apologies for that. Yeah, so what? You've got a couple more years at high school?
Yeah, year 12 this year, so I've got next year. It's my last year.
And after that, studying at university, or is there a plan, maybe scholarship in the States or squash?
I've been talked to go to the US by Dan Sharplin, an old player from New Zealand.
Yeah, good player.
But yeah, it's not confirmed, but I'm looking into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly something a little bit different to use your sport to also further academic and also go to somewhere different as well. It's not so much like, I'll just go to Canberra University. No, you could go to somewhere in the States. Yeah,
it'll be a great experience if I do. Been over there before, play US Junior Open and Canadian Junior Open.
Okay.
The level of squash has just gone up when you go overseas. They're class players over there.
Particularly in Marlborough, where you're the top dog as such, probably in seniors as well as juniors, and then to sort of, even to step up to the rest of the country. But then when you go overseas, just the sheer people, the amount of people that play and the variety of people that play, isn't it? Just so many different people and so many different players from everywhere around the country, isn't it, when you go and play in the US? Yeah, I like playing against different types of players instead of getting the same old in Marlborough. Well, and that's where playing someone like Joseph Watts is a bit different. I mean, you won in straight games, but it's still something different again, isn't it? Tough 3 games. Well, he came back at you a little bit in the second in particular, and then in the third also reeled off a couple of points that were unorthodox. And got a couple of points back at you, but you responded with your own points back, didn't you? Yeah, I was playing a bit slower in the second, playing a lot more length. But I was kind of come back with more attacking and playing drops in the back, pushing him forward, What about, did you speak to your coach before the match, or did you just speak to your mum? I didn't talk to my coach about tactics or anything. I just told him I was on, so we watched the live stream. But no, my mum doesn't know hardly anything about squash, I must say. And she admits that. So I used my head. Good stuff. Well, you used it very well there against an experienced opponent. And what we did like was seeing how you were going forward and how you didn't mind mixing it up and really pushing your opponent around the court. In the meantime, on this particular match, it is 10-5. Jenna Gregory not necessarily doing too much here. She just, there we go, into the 10. It always happens. You always say that someone's doing well, but she's just playing efficient squash at the moment. The Hawke's Bay player. And you've probably seen these players play a little bit,
Yeah, I've seen them
Tom?
at junior tournaments. Yeah.
And game 2 to Jenna Gregory as 2-0 lead over Katie Templeton. That's the first round game, and just another score that we can say was Diana Galloway winning her first round game. That was over Annabelle Romero Gimmel. And we can just let you know the winner of this particular match, this women's match. And as we look down the draw, how's your eyesight there, Tom? Probably a lot better than mine. Just trying to see who the winner of this match will play. Katie Templeton and Jenna Gregory. They will take on Holly Shuja and Mackenzie Tate. There you go. I think my screen's so bright there, Tom, I can't actually see it. For you, are you at school at the moment? I mean, is school on for you in Marlborough?
Yeah. It's been on for probably last month. Yeah.
So you have actually been able to get to school, so you didn't have too long off, really.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And
Quite lucky.
Yeah, so you had today off and then able to come up here and play for the weekend.
Yeah. My mum usually makes me go to the first class, but I had talked my way into taking the day off.
And what about any favourite things that you like to learn at school, or is it really just PE and squash?
I don't take PE. It's mainly focused on rugby. I'm not much of a rugby player. But I enjoy biology.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's something that you might look into a little bit as to what you can do with that, or is there any other subjects you like? Not really into the maths and English so much?
I'm enjoying English and stats this year. I'm
Okay.
doing statistics.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's a real wide variety of subjects you've got there.
Yeah, it's good to keep options open.
Yeah, you've got another year to sort of make things up, and then you can still go to university and make things up anyway.
Yeah.
Just to have a little look at this particular match here as Jenna Gregory on the serve. And she probably needs a bit more depth on this. And into the 10 there. And I'll make that 3-1. Gee, this is really bad when my eyesight's definitely going on that one, Tom. What do you reckon? Come on, it looked like it was in the 10. And racing away. Let's have a look at this one, Tom. Tell me what you think about the serve there. Just a bit of a slap at it. What's she doing? What's Jenna Gregory doing in this particular point? Oh.
She's playing some great length in the back, keeping Katie in the back to give her opportunities to head up the front. It's good getting that dying length.
Just really a bit of one-way traffic here for Jenna Gregory. She's playing good length, as she said, and just pretty efficient squash, isn't it? There's nothing dramatic, is there?
Yeah.
And, taking the pace off that one a bit, giving no bounce back for Templeton. Interesting, the serve, quite a lob underneath it, isn't it? Plenty of height on that serve. Do you have a particular plan with your coach on how you should serve? Is it drive through it or give it a bit of a lift? Is there any particular plan? Anything you like on your serve?
I like mixing it up a lot, but I don't have a particular serve. I do. Yeah.
Because against some, Emma Miller, for instance, would always try and lob to their juniors because they didn't always have enough strength there.
Yeah.
It just seemed to frustrate some of the juniors. That was one of her plans. Whereas some other players just really power through it.
Yeah, I was at training camp a few weeks ago with Emma, and she lob served to a lot of the juniors in there. And
yeah.
I struggled to get them, but
I mean, you've got enough height and strength, but you can understand some of the girls just a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
And so for you, training camps, so you get to go to New Zealand training camps around the country when you can?
Yeah, I go to the Midlands training camps and the Canterbury ones when they're on, but they've stopped doing the New Zealand ones. I'm in the world squad, though, so I think there are training camps, but I don't know if there's been one this year. I can't remember
Yeah.
because of COVID.
It's
Yeah.
been a bit of a tough year for those sort of things, but it's good that you get a little bit of variety with the Canterbury and Midlands. And just wrapping up the match there, Jenna Gregory, 2-6-4, going through to the quarterfinals tomorrow. That'll be a morning match there, so well done to the Havelock North's Jenna Gregory with a 3-game win. And thank you very much there to Tom Marshall. You managed to get out of marking, so well done. You just had to talk to me a little bit.
Thanks for having me.
So well done there to Tom Marshall, who's also through the quarterfinals, who will most likely take on Evan Williams in those quarters tomorrow. We've got Evan Williams up now, or up very shortly, against Oliver Dunbar.
apparently. Come on, I'm the athlete.
Age has its privileges.
Must be paid for the flights here. Oh, yes. All of a sudden, the broke university student comes out, Mum, I've got no money. But it's all right. I've got her a job. She starts on Monday. For the uni holiday. Training ends at the orchard.
All that money can be paid back. Thank you, Clark.
Yeah, thank you.
That's your
Yep.
Do you do this one? No. I think that was your ball that you...
Oh, sorry, but big butt confusion there. But they can read it up. You just get up there and muscle people. You just talk it out. Can't hear a thing on me, can you?
Up there.
Okay. Welcome back in for this, the third match on the main court here at the Oliver Sport NZ Championships. We're at the Hutt City Squash Club, and it is at Faser Park, a magnificent facility here with about 6 or 7 sports together. And as you can see there, we're about to watch Evan Williams take on Oliver Dunbar, the just turned 15-year-old from the Tapal Club in Auckland. Goes to Scots College, I believe it is. Of course, we can say a heap about Evan Williams. Commonwealth Games top seed here, New Zealand champion, world number 79. He's in the New Zealand men's team. yeah, it just goes on actually. In fact, he hasn't actually been beaten since October last year. Won all 4 of the Challenger tournaments he played in New Zealand, and if I can recall, I was at them all. That was Henderson, Waikato, and one more I'm going to forget, Panmure, and the Auckland Open as well. So a great record there from Evan Williams, who is the club coach at this venue as well. In fact, he's playing against one of the players he coaches twice already this week, so Oliver Dunbar knows what he's up against. It's just a matter of how will he go, keep his head against Evan Williams. And joining me now is well, Joseph Watts. You had a bit of an interesting match against a junior as well.
Yes.
Against Tom Marshall, who played very well for a 16-year-old and won in straight. What did you think about your opponent today?
Yeah, no, well, I'm actually just watching Oliver here, wondering how my game against a 15-year-old could go tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You're probably going to get that, aren't you?
Because Tom as a 16-year-old certainly made me look a bit silly today. But I wasn't all bad. I was relatively happy after 6 years off, and sure it was probably the first time I played an A-grader for about that 6 years. So it was good to get a decent sweat up again and feel the burn.
So what, I mean, you were a fairly decent player when it came to your world ranking. I think it was, I was told around about 160, 170 or something like that.
Yep, yeah, about 170. So, yeah, I guess looking back, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It was decent, I suppose you'd say. At the time, it always felt like you were not doing well enough. But no, in hindsight, it was certainly a good run and good time on the tour with a lot of the boys, and even in particular I spent a fair bit of time with over in Australia and around New Zealand. So.
Well, that's the thing though, in a lot of different sports people do tour overseas and sometimes they feel as though they didn't quite get the ranking or the results they really wanted, but they can look back and go, we had a bit of a blast doing whatever we did. I had the odd or many good wins, but it was, we played in some strange places and had a bit of fun.
Yeah. Oh, just as you say, there two places in particular come to mind where we had some very good times with Evan and Jamie Skiffington. Jamie Skiffington was another fellow that played a lot with us, and it was certainly plenty of stories that probably aren't appropriate for this forum.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean that's the sort of thing. The experiences from sport. It's not just about winning. Of course, everybody wants to win, but not everybody can. You've got one winner, one loser in every match. And some of those experiences that you have on the court, but also off the court, are what make a career or make memories anyway.
Yeah. No, for sure. There's the most I got out of my time on the tour would be the, like you say, not necessarily the wins. It was everything that came around those ones. The journey, as they say.
And the journey so far in this one, Oliver Dunbar did pretty well in the North Island juniors for his age, and he's going to be selected in the Wellington juniors as well. But that particular team event was called off, so he's got a second point now. If you were someone like Oliver, what would you sort of be thinking against someone like Evan? You know, he's got the years on you, he's got the experience, got all the rankings, you name it. Yeah. What would you be thinking in this particular match? Is there any particular strategy?
If I was Oliver right now, I'd be thinking I need to do as much running as possible over the next sort of 25 to 30 minutes to make sure that come tomorrow morning my legs are as sore as possible.
That's because he's going to play you, but...
No, I think what I'd be trying to do as Oliver in a match like this is try to go in there and actually try to win every point I can. You can be pretty confident you're not going to win the match. But if you go in there and play a structured match as though you're playing someone who's, a little bit above you rather than way above you, at least you're going to give yourself some confidence that you can win those big points off a very good player. And then when you go in up against someone who's not quite as good, you have that confidence that if I just play each point at a time, I know I can win them. So that's, in Oliver's position, that's what I'd be trying to get out of this match, is just a lot of confidence to to go up against me.
Well, he's grown quite a bit as Oliver Dunbar. He only just turned 15 last month. And that's one of the key things you saw with Tom Marshall. He's quite lanky, but he'd also bulked out a little bit for him anyway,
Yep.
which means that he can handle playing you in a physical sense. It's not so much about banging into each other, but it's just he can hold his own on the
Yep.
court, and that's quite important.
Yeah, just a bit of that presence, and I mean, it's one thing I'm quite impressed with Oliver on here at the moment. He doesn't look like a 15-year-old kid going up against the New Zealand #1. He's got a bit of strength in his legs. He looks solid out there. Looks like he's meant to be on there. So
Yeah, and that's quite an important thing, to feel that you belong there and to look as though you belong there.
Yep.
You're playing your coach, so your coach should know what to do.
Yep.
But then you also know what, well, as a 15-year-old, sometimes you probably don't want to know too much, do you?
No.
It's too easy to clog your mind with superfluous, this is how I should be doing things. It's probably just get every ball back and work it from there.
Yep, and that's the hole he probably doesn't want to get into, where he's just running around in circles trying to hang on. And I mean, it's pretty tough to go on for anyone to go in there as against Evan, let alone as a student, because he's a pretty harsh critic.
Yeah, he's not going to let up, is he? He's not that sort of person. I'm coaching you, not for fun.
No, he like I say, me and Evan are good friends, and he texted me a couple of days ago when the draw came out, saying that I potentially have him second round, and sent me a message saying, never been, what do you say, I sure hope Joey Watts gets a first round win for once in his life.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of banter, particularly between players your age group. There's a lot of banter there between you, and there's the first game there, Evan Williams 11-5. Of Oliver Dunbar, the Tawa player who he coaches. But yeah, there does seem to be a fair bit of banter on Facebook and other social media between you guys as to it's not so much put up and shut up, it's just put up.
I don't even know if I'd call it banter. I think he was quite serious about it. And then Jamie Skippington, I mentioned before, I sent him the draw just to let him know I was coming back for a game of squash, and his reply is, good luck in the consolation plate final.
That's pretty harsh. That's another good thing, is the camaraderie that you can get out of squash, albeit that you've had 6 years or so away from it, that you guys can all give each other a bit of grief.
Yep.
And it'll continue.
Yeah, yep. Oh, I sure hope so.
What about someone like Tom Marshall taking on Evan tomorrow? Just that year or so older, he has a bit more confidence about himself, perhaps. He said he's played quite a few left-handers in the past, so he's not scared of playing a left-hander like Evan.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I say, I've been really impressed with Oliver's just presence on the court there, and to be honest, it didn't add reflection on our match. I don't know if Tom would quite have that against Evan, so it'll be interesting to see if he does manage to take up that tee, and he's certainly got the height to be able to do it.
Yeah, he moved forward quite a bit and tried to control the tee a lot in that match, and he didn't mind taking ball on the full, those volleys. Yep. He really liked that. That's great to see, isn't it?
He certainly found his range in the last 5 or 6 shots there, so if he can take that momentum into the tomorrow's match, he'll certainly put some pressure on Evan to get forward up in that court.
Nice shot there from Evan. Just the other thing that Evan's so good at doing is just taking the pace off the ball at times. It'll be a little bit of a slow one, medium, then a bit faster, then you're never really too sure. You can't get into a rhythm against him.
No, and that's the experience of him. And that's why he's been so successful nationally over the last 12 months or so. What did you say, October last year? He's just got that ability to control a match. Can put the ball where he needs to from most places on the court.
And for people like, particularly Tenwa and Luamba Chilisi, who played him in so many different finals, not quite being able to get there. I think it was in the Auckland Open final early this year that Tenwa had a match point and then lost in 5, and Evan just seemed to almost love it that he was down to come back. And was it the previous Nationals also at the North Shore Club where the Wamba had almost a match point, but it was certainly close again in the fifth.
Yeah.
That they just couldn't quite get it over the line. I know it hurt those two players, the two brothers, a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know it gave Evan a lot of pride as well, because
Yeah.
he's wanted to go undefeated. And
Yeah.
fair enough too, it's a great record to aim for.
Oh, and like you say, he would have really enjoyed that, because it'd be quite tough for him at the moment. Not, going unbeaten for 12 months. Yeah, it's great in one sense, but part of what all these top players love about the game is that competition, that contest, and the pressure. And when you don't have that pressure, it can get a little bit boring every now and then. So. He would have enjoyed having that come back on him and have to find a way to beat those guys. And like I say, he has the experience to do it, and he managed to find a way.
And that was a longer rally there from Oliver Dunbar. Stayed in it until a bit of an error. And there's quite a few balls down the middle of that one. He's trying to push forward here, so he can get forward into the tee.
Yeah, you can see Oliver sort of starting to lose a little bit of that structure in his body and a little bit of that presence, which is to be expected at this point.
Just pushing it too far there.
Yeah.
And the physical nature of it. I mean, again, when we say physical nature, it doesn't mean banging into each other so much, but just running forward, running back, running forward, running back. That takes it out of you. It doesn't matter how fit you are, but as a 15-year-old, it takes it out of you a lot more.
Oh, for sure. And so, I mean, you can see those lunges, he's just falling into them a little bit more, and the arms are flapping a bit, so he's obviously feeling it. So I'm glad Evan listened to my pre-game advice about making him work.
Now, did your sister give you any advice in your match?
Unfortunately not. Well, fortunately, I'm not sure.
Not the right advice? One day I'm actually going to get her on microphone. She says no and never, but one day it will happen.
I don't know if you want her on here, to be fair.
Well, there's still the discussion that you've pointed out who the favourite Watts sibling is when it comes to squash. The unfortunate thing is, during some of those discussions while Caitlin was playing around the country, it was pointed out that she's won several challenger titles and you never did.
Yeah, no, that's true, but I guess in terms of squash, I think we've established over the last 12 months a pretty clear favourite there. But what that argument's never actually delved into is the actual favourite child, which is the second boy, Michael, who lives in Melbourne. And, I don't know if he's ever played squash. He may have played a little bit, but if you ask Mum who the favourite child is, it's him.
Well, she can't see him anyway, so maybe he's going to stick with it.
And he's probably the one out of the 8 of us who wouldn't really care whether he's the favourite or not.
And there we go, Oliver Dunbar trying for a bit of a cross-court dab at the ball. Into the tin, though, drops the second game, so 11-5, 11-1, Evan Williams. Taking those first two games, and Joseph, to say that Evan just keeping the pressure on, and Oliver feeling it a little bit more, and losing his game, or losing his structure. Yeah,
you could just sort of see him halfway through that game start to, I know exactly how he feels, just start to lose a bit of that stability in his body, which is, you start losing your spots on the court, not quite hitting those back corners, and it's harder to hit a tight drop shot because you're standing up a little bit more rather than bending your knees, and sort of like we mentioned at the start there, he's probably at that point now, he's just holding on. Just trying to hold on to the match.
All right, we'll come back with the third game in just a moment. That is Evan Williams, the top seed, world number 79, up against the 15-year-old Oliver Dunbar.
$15 seconds. Time.
Just a little bit over.
You said earlier, Joseph, that you've been away from the court as such for a few years. Why no squash? Have you been busy with work or other things?
Yeah, a few other things going on. So I went shearing sheep for a couple of years, and then started working for PGG Wrightson's as a agronomist.
So tell me, what does that actually do?
So the basis of it is help farmers sort of put together their forage systems to either grow crops for feeding to animals or feeding to people. So in Central Hawke's Bay we grow a lot of seed crops, so carrot seed and beetroot seed that all gets exported internationally. And then a lot of wheat and barley for either bread or beer, or for stock feed. So it's Dad takes great pleasure in telling people that I watch grass grow for a living, and that pretty much sums it up, to be fair.
Well, you get that. I get told that I talk garbage for a living. So between the two of us,
and then spent the last 3 years pretty heavily involved in the National Young Farmer competition.
Great.
So that was sort of my extracurricular activity, I suppose.
That's a huge competition as such, isn't it?
Yes.
Young Farmer.
Yep. No, it is. It's very cool. Unfortunately, not on TV anymore, but it doesn't take away from it. It's still worth a huge amount to the winner, and unfortunately came off second best twice.
Oh, really?
So runner up 2 years, and you only get 2 cracks at it.
Oh, okay.
And then you're out. So
what was the difference between you as runner up and winner?
That's a great question.
Still thinking about that.
0.22 points out of 500. Yeah.
Wow. That's remarkable.
So
well, congratulations on getting through to the final, I guess, or being runner-up twice. That's still an achievement.
Yes, no, it was. It's taken me a few months to get over it and be proud of it. But on reflection, it was it was a very cool experience, and I got a huge amount out of it. So
that's it's hard to comprehend for some people, but I've actually seen a bit of it, and just what you have to go through to actually get that far, to get through to finals and regional finals, then to come and runner up. That's pretty impressive.
Yep. No, it's a big team effort, and a huge amount of help goes into it. Obviously, especially coming in pretty fresh as a city boy 7 years ago or so. It's a huge industry, and there's a lot to learn. So it was that's kept me away from the squash courts pretty well.
And this little comeback here, is that a thought of playing a little bit more if you get the opportunity?
Oh, potentially, to be honest. Like I say, the young farmer stuff's over now. I'm about to age out, so I just help organise it more so now. So a little bit less time involved, so I can get back on the court. Moving to Tapal shortly.
Okay, so it's a good club there.
Yep, good club, some good players, and it should be a bit more inspiration to get back out there and get some more sweats up.
We're just having a look at a couple of these points here. A bit of frustration coming into Oliver Dunbar as Evan Williams takes a 7-love lead. And let's just have a look at this serve. Nothing too much on the serve. Evan just gets on with it. It's not a lob, it's not a power through serve. It's solid.
Yep. And you can see even there now, I'd say he's practicing a lot of stuff throughout this last set. He'll be thinking about how he's going to play the next few matches, I'd say, and making sure he's finding his corners and doing all that right.
Well, if seedings go, Evan would probably take on, I think it's Glenn Templeton in one semi-final, and then either Chris van der Sam or Wills Donnelly in the final, Glenn Templeton or Johnny Barrett, I think, in the semis.
Yep. And
Chris van der Sam or Wills Donnelly in the final, if seedings go to plan.
Yep.
I know that Evan has had a few battles against Chris in the past. I think it's because Chris is physically quite a big guy.
Yep. Yeah, speaking of presence on court, it's hard to beat Chris van der Sam in that department. I certainly had a good few battles of him when we were both sort of that 17, 18, 19 years old. He's one of those players who who's just always been around, even the last 10 years.
And the error there from Oliver Dunbar gives a lot of match balls here for Evan Williams. Let's see what he can do in this rally, the youngster.
I can tell you, he won't be giving it to him. He's not that type of guy. But good to see Oliver not giving up either. Making sure he makes Evan have to win. Evan has to win it.
And let's see if Evan's going to switch sides. No, going down the forehand.
Good boys, still stepping up, still getting in there. So
good play by Dunbar.
yeah, not afraid to keep pushing him deep either. He's be good to see him make a comeback here and push this match out to 5.
That would be one heck of a comeback. And what's he calling for?
Don't know, but Evan's bound to get upset at 10 love up with a bad call.
Oh,
Yeah, good man, Ollie.
yep. That's. I mean, just getting that 1 point, you just don't want to have a love in there, do you?
No,
Just, even if it's just 1 point.
yeah, not a bad half dive there either.
Yeah.
And like I say at the start, I mentioned, just for him to be able to hang on at 10 love down, play a good solid rally, and gain that confidence out of it, that even at that point he can push the top player in New Zealand to make a mistake.
You can see Evan just using the middle of the court there. The rally just slowing down a bit and chops under it and takes it out. 11-5, 11-1, 11-1 for Evan Williams there. And Joseph, what just a little bit of a summary there for Oliver Dunbar?
Yeah, no, I was very impressed with him. I haven't seen him play too much, to be honest. Just a little bit online that I've seen of him. But yeah, like I say, for a 15-year-old to be able to stand on the court and have that presence he did against the number 1 in New Zealand, yeah, it's certainly not looking forward to my match tomorrow.
You're still thinking about that. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's all I could think about the whole time was how I'm going to make him hurt like Evan did. But yeah, no, I've got a fight, got a battle on my hands there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, good stuff. Well, thank you very much there, Joseph Watts. We managed to get you on, and it's been good to have you, and well done on today's performance. And we'll certainly take a big interest in tomorrow's performance. I'm sure a few of your mates will let you know about that as well. So thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Cheers, Dave.
Yeah.
Level. One love.
Good save. Don't have to yell it though. I can't hear it.
And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, a quick fire start here for Wills Donnelly. Out to 3 love. He is ranked 268 in the world, the Tapal player, formerly of Gisborne. And certainly known for his running around the court of late. Really had a improved showing from Wills Donnelly as he takes on one of the local players as such. And Brian Tapal, just watch the footwork of Donnelly around the court. And I think you can see Kashif Shuja here. Yes, there he is. And the crowd watching. Coaching of Wills Donnelly. And Wills still only 20 years old. Will certainly stand the rallies for a long time. Had a good few tournaments this year in the PSA circuit, particularly Challenger circuit around the Auckland and Waikato region. And drops his first point there. We've had quite a number of results already going through today. And Good result for Evan Williams, defending champ, who will now take on Tom Marshall. Of course, Marshall defeating Joseph Watson straight, and Evan Williams defeating Oliver Dunbar. 5 points though in the first game, so well done there for Dunbar. And Wills Donnelly, as we said, 239 that is in the world, and returning 21 late next month. Just let you know of a couple of results that he had. The best results, a couple of quarterfinals. I make that the semi-finals in Northland Open. Actually, he lost to Lawamba Chalisi. I think that one was in 3. Semi-finals, where else? Waikato Open. Yeah, that was a good match to get through there. Eventually lost to Evan Williams. And quarterfinals at the Morrinsville Open as well. Quarterfinals also at the Howick Open. That was the last PSA Challenger tournament prior to lockdown. So also at the Auckland Open, the big tournament there this year, lost to Nicholas Calvert from Australia. So plenty of tournaments that he's played over the past year or this year. And good to have a circuit around the northern region. Now it's good to have an event here in Wellington. It's a PSA satellite tournament. And a nice little comeback from Tapal. See what he can do now. He's got 5 points. It was a quick burst of points, 5 in a row for Wills Donnelly. And let's just see if he can keep his head here and not have to do too much. And not quite coming off of that time for Tapal. Here we go. Oh. And he's going far forward. Wills Donnelly is controlling the pace and forcing his opponent into the back wall, and the error there. So 9-5 the first game. Still got one more match remaining on the main court this evening. Been a lot of good matches going on. We've had Emma Miller on one of the outside courts coming through as well. She has been inside the top 100 of late, just outside the top 100 now. And I guess everybody's looking forward to the potential battle between Emma Miller and Caitlin Watts in the final, if it gets that way. Seeded to play that way. And game ball. And not quite there, pushing that one a bit too much. There's Donnelly. Let's see if he can wrap it up here. Another game ball. And the error from his opponent. So Wills Donnelly takes the first game 11-6. And pretty much at his highest ranking at the moment, 238. Highest ranking is 239 at the present time. And just going off there, not having a chat with his coach. Chief, I don't need you right now. He's going for a little bit of a run down the hallway. And so there we go. The first game, this one, the penultimate match on the main court. Don't forget that from around about 10:30 tomorrow, we'll have the first of the quarterfinals. And of course the finals on Sunday. First final will be 12:30, the women's final pretty much followed by the men's final. So we'll have the third and fourth playoffs as well. That'll be fun. Plenty of good matches coming up. Oh yes, he's come back now as Will Donnelly. You can see him there talking to Kashif. Bit of a towel down. A few wise words. You've won the first game, just don't let it slip. There's 5 points. Pretty much, well, not quite in a row, but fairly close to it. That Ryan Taparau came back in. And let's see how Wills Donnelly just getting ready again. Back on the court fairly quick. Just to really get playing. Let's have a look at some of the other winners here. Diana Galloway over Annabelle Romero General. We had Caitlin Watts, Sanchez Brown, Winona Joe Joyce of Samantha Douglas, Holly Shuja of Mackenzie Tate, and as we said, Tom Marshall of Joseph Watts. Also Maidenly Co over Lily Ray. So we're racing through the results. This is the Oliver Sport NZ Classic. 16-player draw, men's and women's. And it's a PSA satellite as well. So plenty on, as well as prize money for the players as well. And it's nice to see so many players, of course, from outside of Auckland. We've got 3 from the South Island as well. And quite a fast and furious rally. This initial one and their second game. And Wills Donnelly controlling the tee. Oh, look at that. Well played. Takes his opponent forward on the backhand side, then plays it quickly, nice and low into the other angle. Takes the point quite nicely. So far in the second game, we really have had fast and furious rallies. And he's quite content to play the ball fairly long, is Wills Donnelly. Let's see if he can put in a drop every now and then. Just a little bit of variety. And there's the error. So that has been one of the, I guess, habits of Wills Donnelly in the past. A few tournaments around the country. He hasn't minded staying out there and waiting for the error or forcing the error. He's certainly developed that in his game, and particularly his movement, not just sprinting from one side to the other, but also close around other players. His footwork has improved dramatically, and that's where those semi-finals at PSA Challenges have come in. A couple of those, and also a couple of quarterfinals as well, and some good results in tournaments around the country. It's helped his ranking improve up to currently 239, just one off his top spot. And dropping that point though, as a little bit of forceful power comes in from his opponent. And a lot of forceful power again, but just not directed the right way. Fairly decent lead here. As Wills Donnelly 8-1. Doing what he has to. Let's see if he can change up the tactics a little bit. A little bit of traffic in the middle of the court at the present time. Let's see, good length and out. Too much. Looking for the length. Tapal, let's see what he can do here. He certainly doesn't mind giving the ball a bit of a hit. Sometimes a bit too much. And we've got game point, second game point here. For game point in the second game. Coming off the court, 2 games to love now, Wills Donnelly, and let's see who he will play in the next round. And we already know that we've got Evan Williams, who's through to take on Tom Marshall, and Glenn Templeton, and he's through. Let's see if he's going to take on Jonathan Barnett or Luke Tuff.
I know we've all been
And
doing
Wills Donnelly. Let's see who will take on either Sam Atkins. And Sam Atkins on the court at the moment against Connor Plumley. We'll have to wait and see on that one. It looks to be one game all on that one at the present time. So a few matches are still taking a little while on the court, on the second court as well. Just looking through the women's draw and who has won through to the quarterfinals. You know that Caitlin Watts won her match. She's going to take on Maidenly Co. That will be 10:20 tomorrow morning. Diana Galloway in 4 games over Annabelle Romero Gimmel, and that will be a match now. Diana Galloway against Winona Joe Joyce at 11 o'clock. Holly Shuja will take on Jenna Gregory, 11:40 that particular match. And Emma Miller will take on Hannah Grimmett. That's at 12:20. So the quarterfinal matches all lined up there in the women's draw.
So what's he saying?
In the meantime, we're getting ready now for the third game. Wills Donnelly against Brian Tapal. And Wills Donnelly is 21st next month, late next month. No, not quite. They'll be just over a month. Not quite in November just yet. But in December he will be 21. Seems to have been around for quite some time. Fairly decent junior, winning a few junior trips for New Zealand teams. Good control of the point here. Just mind the ball going deep. So Wills down. Nice control here though from the two. Scoops under that one. And one of the more lengthy points between these two. And just takes another boast there. Top it off. And nice play. Takes it up 2-1. That gives up that little 2-1 lead as Wills Donnelly. Not too many problems there, not much motion on the face. Oh, picks that one up real low. Lengthy rally here. Wills Donnelly happy to stay in there. And just a bit of a check with the officials. Haven't had too much to do so far. So quite appreciating that. No contentious calls in this match, or most of the others as well. So good news there for the officials. They've almost got a smile on their face. Oh, the error from Wills Donnelly. Likes that one, usually playing up the backhand close to his body. Played it away into the tin, though. And Brian Tapal just hangs around in this one.
One that I thought was up and you thought was up. They called that.
So Wills Donnelly still happy to play out the point. Not trying to finish it off too quickly. He knows that potentially he's up against Chris van der Sam in the semis if everything goes to plan. And that could be a very long and very good match, and not able to pick that one up. Just down low, no pressure on the ball. Nothing coming back there for Tapal. And it is one more point back. Still hanging in there. Let's see, 8-5 now for Wills Donnelly to try and wrap this up. Move on through to the next round. And at 9-5, he's just taking his time to get there. That was a bit of a flick at it, not much effort put in the end. So 10-5, it is match ball, the first match ball here for Wills Donnelly to go through to the quarterfinals of this, the Oliver Sport NZ Classic. And there we go, wraps it up. 6, 1 and 5, and that'll bring us up to our final match of this evening on this, the main court. We get quarterfinals from tomorrow morning at 10:20, and the semi-finals later on in the afternoon. So well done there for Wills Donnelly. Just wrapping it up, straight games. Next up, Alan Bailey against Cameron Scott, as we go through all the matches for today, and this match will be the last one on the main court.
going for 2 minutes now. You can push in 2 minutes.
Second door, when the door closes, the second person.
Well, can we have the door open for 2 minutes? I reckon that's going to go in the first check, do you think?
Oh.
That's why I asked about string again. She said it's Central Park. How to get started. I'll ask you in a minute. Tomorrow morning, yeah.
Best of 5 games, Ellen to serve, Cameron to receive, love all.
the night. It is the Oliver Sport NZ Champs, NZ Classic. Not quite the champs. We missed out on that one, but that's okay. There's plenty of other players taking part in this tournament. 16 men's draw, 16 women's draw here at the Hutt City Squash Club, Faser Park, and plenty of good entertainment with it. Some great matches tonight and this afternoon, and some quarterfinals coming up and semi-finals coming up tomorrow. The quarterfinals starting from 10:20 tomorrow morning. The semi-finals later in the afternoon into the early evening, and of course the finals on Sunday from 12:30. Third and fourth playoffs a bit earlier than that as well. So plenty of great squash coming up. And Jason Fletcher with me again. Jace, on court, Alan Bailey. Tell me a little bit about him. Can you tell me much about him?
Yeah, well, he's a local from Palmerston North and Squash Gym, so I know Alan well. Sort of came up the ranks quite late and compared to a lot of his similar age group. So he's
one of the better players in Manawatu, is that right? Or there's a lot of talk in Manawatu. There's always a lot of talk, it seems, from the Manawatu region about squash. So where would he rate when it comes to Manawatu?
Yeah, he'd be probably top one or two players in the Manawatu. He was sort of selected for the Central Districts team to come to the teams event. So and he's probably one of the most well-known players around, because I think he plays quite a number of tournaments. So yeah, he's well known, and I think he was the players representative on the Central committee as well till recently. So yeah, so he's well known around the traps and plays lots of tournaments, and one of the better players in the region at the moment.
And the opponent there is Cameron Scott, and from what I'm told, he's from the Kapiti region. I think I've got that one right. Or Kandala. No, sorry, Kandala Club. Let's get our K's right. And so these two players could have a little bit of a battle, couldn't they?
Yeah, I think they're seeded to have a pretty close game, so it'll be interesting to see how they go.
And we've got Wills Donnelly watching here. I would suggest that he then plays the winner, and we'll check out that draw in just one moment. Let's have a look who Wills Donnelly will take on tomorrow. And yeah, that is correct. No, it's not quite correct. He's not going to take on the winner of these two. He's certainly an observer of the match. Just make sure we can give you the quarterfinals as they are for the men's draw in just one moment. And Wills Donnelly will actually take on Connor Plumley, who defeated Sam Aikens in a very entertaining 11-9, a 3-11, 11-8, 11-8 match. So that contest, that quarterfinal, 11:40 tomorrow. We've got Chris van der Sar on court at the moment, and he's up against James Thompson. He is the second seed, and then the winner of van der Sar Thompson will take on the winner of this match, Bailey against Scott. Tell me, Jason, some of the matches that you've seen today, you've been pretty impressed and enjoyed the matches?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of squash in recent times, but actually it's great to see be able to hold an event and some close matches, but it's good to see some of these youngsters playing as well. And I've seen a number of youngsters challenge some of the more established players, and I think it's some good signs for the future of squash as well, with some of these youngsters having a crack at the big boys.
Yeah, Joseph Watts, he was pretty impressed with his opponent, Tom Marshall. Marshall winning in straight, and we watched that one. But, afterwards, Joseph said to me that he was impressed with the way that Marshall was able to go forward and hold his own on court. Whether or not he can do that against someone like Evan Williams is a different story. He was also very interested watching Oliver Dunbar against Evan Williams, because he's going to play against Oliver. And he was like, "Oh, I'm a little bit worried." So that should be a bit of a fun consolation match, that one. Maybe Joseph didn't really call it fun. But he's going to be playing that tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Joseph feels tomorrow morning.
Yeah. And really interested also about what some of these players do off the court. Joseph saying that he's been runner-up of Young Farmer of the Year twice.
Yes,
That's pretty amazing.
Yes, he. I think when he stopped chasing the the squash circuit, he turned his hand to farming. He started off shearing sheep or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty physical. So here we go with the first game ball of this last match, and let's see Cameron Scott. Let's see what he can do here. Using the corners, both players pushing it right back into the corners. And taking the pace off the ball as well.
Yeah, Alan's got a bit of a reputation of someone who likes to run around a lot, so
he's doing a lot of it in this rally.
Yes, yeah.
Ooh. And a very lengthy rally here as Cameron Scott tries to wrap up this first game.
It looks like Alan's just trying to push the ball back and keep the ball in play, and trying to make Cameron sort of force his hand a wee bit.
And you can see the scoop up there from Alan Bailey. He's scooped the ball up, kept himself in this first game, and he's saying, have I won this? No, you know you got no points.
Yeah, I think Cameron wanted to take that one.
Yeah. Well, he's actually got no points according to the score up on the wall at the moment, but it is actually 10-6. And a slight unorthodox shot from Alan Bailey, but it comes off in the end. Sort of pushing it away as a pseudo smash. I think I've just made up a new shot, but it worked.
You can put that. You can paint on that in the coaching manual.
Exactly.
Yeah, so both players looking to lift the ball a bit and just trying to get into the back there.
It's almost like they're taking the pace off and making it harder to actually generate anything. And a much better shot there, takes out the first game, Cameron Scott. And he'll be quite keen to have a little bit of a sit down. One thing that Tom Marshall said today was that it was actually really hot on the court. I mean, it's been a nice day outside, Wellington in spring. So well done there to Tom Marshall. He'll take on Evan Williams. Let's have a look at the timing of that tomorrow in the quarterfinals. The 16-year-old, I've been calling him 17. He said, no, I've actually got a few more months until I turn 17. That match will be 11 o'clock, and I'm sure it'll be on the main court as well. So we'll look out on that one. As we get ready for game 2 coming up very shortly of this last match of the night.
No, I need to not get past it. Reassure the fans that it's okay. It's only the first year. It's okay.
Still got another out.
Back on now, the both players for the final match on the main court. And we can tell you as we look across to the second court, and it is Chris van der Saan 9-4 in the first game of his first round match. The Wanganui player up against James Thompson. So van der Saan already mentioned that he's quite an awkward player for some of the others to take on. That was Joseph White saying that. And as we look now, Cameron Scott Good first game.
And out, one love.
And Jason Fletcher, what do you think about Alan Bailey? What's he got to do to take this second game and take it to 4?
Well, he seemed pretty relaxed after that first set, and
Yeah, he didn't seem to care.
sort of bit of a shout out to his fans to say, look, it's okay, he's got this under control. And but he seemed to be pretty well relaxed and almost looking confident that he can come back in this set. So yeah, I'd probably like to see Alan be a little bit more proactive and put some pressure on Cameron.
Yeah, he was a bit reactive and a bit passive in many ways the way he was playing. And he's sort of not asking someone to be aggressive and go for winners. There's the, well, dive or a flop.
3 love.
I might go for almost a flop on that one. There we go. We need a towel from somewhere. Or no, no issues. And Bailey up to 3 love, make that 4. So maybe this was part of his plan.
Yes, yeah, I think he likes to have those long rallies early on. And look, he's already starting to be a bit more proactive and getting forward and hit the ball early, so which is good to see.
Yeah, certainly the passiveness in the first had him staying back a little bit, whereas in the second he's trying to get forward. There we go. A delicate lob. He's dominated this point. Should be his. Alan Bailey, but he's having to run again. A lot of running, but couldn't quite catch up with that one.
And out, 1-5.
Yeah, Cameron did well to hang into that rally and had a great little shot at the end to finish it off.
Oh, that's a delicate little dink. Oh, that is the dive. There we go.
Dive again, yep.
He's got up and he's smiling, so that's always a good thing. And yeah, if you could still smile after a dive and you haven't won the point, well, something's good. Either that or you're grimacing.
Yeah, another good aggressive shot there from Alan Bailey. He sort of he was definitely looking to step forward a bit in this set.
And we can tell you that Chris Van der Sar has taken the first game, and that is on the second court. Don't forget there are 2 courts that you can actually watch on the streaming. So keep an eye on those tomorrow when we get to the quarterfinals and also the consolation matches. There'll be some good consolation matches. You've already heard that Joseph Watts is looking forward to, in a certain extent, against Oliver Dunbar. A few other matches as well. So there's some good players, good matches in the constellation as well as the quarterfinals too. And chopping under that a little bit too much there, Jason Fletcher.
Yeah, I think he tried to force that one a bit. But he still seems to be pretty much in control of this set. Yeah, another good lob to put some pressure on there. Taking the pace off and reversing the pressure, which is always useful when you're in the front, especially if you're like me and I can't move too well. So,
well, that's one thing that you do see on a lot of the PSA big tournaments there. Paul Cole and others using lob, not so much as, well, it can be defensive, obviously, but also as an offensive weapon to really push the player back, set yourself up. There you go. That is a second game to Alan Bailey. Still seems pretty relaxed.
He's still smiling there. So,
is he getting a team talk or he just wants that seat? All right, we'll come back with game 3 in just a moment.
15 seconds.
Well, the players were all smiles as they went back onto the court at 1 game apiece. That's Alan Bailey there in the white shorts. Cameron Scott with the, I was almost going to say there were socks, but no, they're probably pressure.
Oh, compression socks here.
And, well, he's done okay with the running so far. But at 1 game each, I think Cameron Scott's going to have to maybe try and finish it rather than hanging around, because that seems to be what Alan Bailey's enjoying, these long points. And that was quite assertive of him.
Yes, I think he sort of always laugh when players sort of apologise for those sorts of shots, because I don't think they actually mean it. You see it quite a lot, especially in the PSA. Put the lucky nick into the back of the court, but I think it's more relief than anything else.
Yeah. Hey, if you can get it, you take it. You're not going to give it away as a point. No, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Take the point.
And out, 1-3.
And as we see Cameron Scott with the serve there.
Everyone's coming up with a few fancy things.
So Jason, with squash in the Mineral 2 region, so I guess under Central region, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah.
How are things going in the region with player numbers? I mean, obviously this year's been disrupted, even outside of Auckland as well, but how have interclub teams been, player numbers? Is the engagement around clubs been good?
Probably, I don't get around the district that much, but I know the Central team this year was looking probably one of the strongest I've had for many years. Chris van der Salm's moved to Wanganui, so that's really helped the district with strength. And a couple of younger players, Luke Jones is another one that's come back and playing, so he's a highly ranked junior and a former junior national champion. So he's back playing a little bit now and doing a lot of coaching too. So yeah, some of the top end players have been good, and from what I know from what I've seen, the tournaments have been pretty well supported around the district as well. So I think last year after the COVID lockdown, tournaments got everybody was keen to get out, and a lot of the tournaments went really well. So definitely holding their own, which is great.
And what about for World Squash Day? You had a couple of events at Squash Gym, and I think you had a couple in the area that went quite well.
Yes, at our club I got the speed gun from Manawatu Cricket.
Okay.
So we had a couple of players try and see how hard they could hit the ball, and so a couple of players discussed they got beaten by a junior, which was...
What were a couple of the speeds? What were they hitting at? Can you recall?
So we were a bit concerned that we wouldn't be able to, the ball would be too small to pick up, but we did manage to get a few over the 200 mark, 200 kilometres an hour.
Wow.
I think the record was about 225 that we were able to clock. So
nice play there from Alan Bailey, just holding the ball on the a forehand shot. So good control from the tee. So 225 Ks. 225
Ks, yep. So that was the fastest that we got. So it was a good little novelty. I'd like to, happy to say that nobody had to go put an ACC claim in afterwards for their shoulder. So I think a few of the big burly players in the club thought they could hit the ball through the front wall, and one of the guys had the record for a while, but he was... funny enough, his nickname in the back of his shirt was the Hulk, so he was actually walking around like he was the Hulk, and then this young junior came up and blew him away, so he wasn't too happy about that, so he kept trying for another half hour after that. So,
but that's one of the key things for squash, is that just factors like that coming through. How hard can you hit the ball? How long do you play? How quick can you play? How people like that sort of thing, and that's how the sport will go forward, is by saying, hey, this person is the hardest hitter, this person is the whatever they are. That's a novelty factor that takes any sport forward.
It does. If you look at cricket and the speed gun for the bowlers, and there's always interest in how fast the bowlers are bowling, and if somebody gets right up into those top speeds, there's always a big lot of attention around it, and the commentators talk about it, and so that just adds that little extra dimension that, like you say, that
6 all.
and as you know, with tennis, the fast serves come in. And
and stats are so big when it comes to sport in the US. I mean, with baseball, you know that there's a left-handed pitcher to a left-hander on a Monday, and what the average is and what their name is and how tall they are. But that's the average. 6'9" pitcher, a left-handed pitcher to a left-handed batsman on a Monday is this. And then on the Tuesday, there's something else, and you're like, it's just stat. And with tennis as well, uses stats probably not as well as it should do. But other sports, I can't believe in rugby we don't know who the fastest All Black is over 100 metres. That should be the biggest thing to promote the sport around the world.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You find an All Black, and I think Rico Ioane is probably the quickest in the team at the moment, and we want to know his time over 100 metres.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
It doesn't matter if it's not, if it's not up there with Justin Gatlin on drugs or anything like that. That's the sort of thing to help sell it to the people that aren't the exact fans of any sport. So if you say to someone, hey, I can hit the squash ball 225 k's, do you want to get on the court? Straight away, people go, I can beat that.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I think Cameron Pilley had the world record for a long time. It was about 175 miles. I'm not too sure what that converts to, but
that's a lot.
Yeah, not something you want to get in the way of.
No, no. I mean, there's been a few. I've seen Campbell Grayson with a cut head. I've seen Paul Cole with a bandage on his head, and then there's also, and that's from rackets, let alone getting hit from the ball. Some of the bruises are fairly impressive. I've seen a few good bruises. Nice play, and keeps it going. Bailey's just
he's hanging in there still, yeah.
He is. Both of these players, I think hanging in is the best way of putting it.
I think Cameron's starting to feel it a lot now.
Yeah. Although Alan Bailey's got to be careful he doesn't sort of let it slip a bit more and find himself down 2-1, even if he thinks he's the fitter player out of the two. So he has a game ball, and they're still both smiling or grimacing. It's amazing what a smile can look like.
Oh, yeah, well, he's had a crack at that and he's got it too.
Yeah.
Great way to finish the set. So he'll definitely come off smiling after that one.
Yeah, let's have a look. Has he got a smile?
Yeah,
he's smiling, kind of laughing. So there you go, Alan Bailey up by 2 games to 1. And we can tell you that on the other court, Chris van der Sam is up by 2 games to 1. 2 games to love. Not having it all his own way though, is he? Just on the scoreboard when we look at that.
3-2 in the third set, yes.
Yeah. There we go, we can see the smiling. They're not realising the camera's on them. Oh, sorry. And we'll come back with the 4th one in just a moment.
Mum's fixing your commentary to me. You don't have to be more proactive. Okay. Not during the game. It's not on-court coaching or anything. It's between them, really.
15 seconds.
Mine's not good, but it's one of them. I'm pretty sure they're smartwatches on like museum. Yeah, because I mean you can't.
Hey, when that happens there, phone rings and you've got a beer in each hand.
I know.
We won't mention that.
Bailey leads 2 games to 1.
Who else has got their phone as their watch? I got that one. So we've just been discussing unofficial coaching on text messages coming through on people's watches. What do you think, Jason? You need that? Do you need it?
I'd need it, but I need some spare pair of legs as well. But quite funny that I suppose the great thing about the streaming that we can do now, that actually people can engage. So it's another way for engagement, as we were talking about earlier, actually, to
Strike, Scott.
friends, family, coaches can
Free love.
share as well.
That is how we learnt that Joseph Watts still considered himself the favourite child out of the 8 of them in the Watts family, although he just told me that he's given up on being the favourite squash player, even though he did get to 169 in the world or thereabouts. That Caitlin's got that.
And out 1-3.
And we're out to a quick run here in this, the fourth. It was 3-love, now 3-1. Let's see what Cameron Scott can do. Is he going to take it to 5? Because it is the rule of squash and of any sport that the last match of the night has to go 5. Because that's just what happens. You notice it in any squash tournament, any tennis grand slam, just about anything else like that, the last match of the night will go the full distance. And is that going to happen here, Jason?
There's a good chance if Cameron can hang in
And
there.
out 4-2.
Alan might have different ideas, but I'm sure Cameron's going to try and get it to the 5th set and give himself a chance. Oh, so he's trying pretty hard to keep in there. He's working pretty hard to put some pressure on Alan, but Alan's still solid enough to absorb that at this stage.
We've just seen Chris van der Sam win in 3 games there. A little bit of a battle throughout the match though. And now we've got Alan Bailey at 4 each. Come back a little bit. And I wonder if we've got any tips coming through from Mum on the phone, on the watch. Oh, that was interesting. Bow smash something. He chops under the ball quite a bit, does Alan Bailey. He really does put a bit of a flick in his thighs.
Oh, look at that.
What was that? What was that? Launches himself like a ballet dancer up in the air. And it was almost behind the back, intentionally, unintentionally.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he had his eyes open, but it was a great finish.
Well, if you make those shots happen, that's great. And we've seen that chop on the forehand from Bailey quite a lot.
And he's pushed him back again. He's making him work hard. Oh, another great shot there.
6-4.
Gee. That's one heck of a shot to take the 2-point advantage in this, the 4th. Just hits down through it.
And out 5-6.
Really did die in the backhand corner, didn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know whether it's because we're late at night or getting later at night, or just maybe it was the way it was hit.
It's hard to know.
Well past you.
And a flat swat at the ball there from Alan Bailey comes off.
Yeah, I think he was hopeful for a lead at that time, but the ball got well past him, and I think he was sort of he's looking to try and do what he can to get the points. Oh, he sort of got a bit lucky there. I think he got the frame.
The pickup was good.
Yep. Now referee's called it good. So yeah, you got a bit of luck there, but sometimes you need that to get yourself through.
Yeah, it was pretty jammed up to the wall and very low to start with. He didn't. Well,
And out 7-6.
okay, so players okay with everything. Yep, they're just checking the score. Cameron Scott's going, oh, I've got the lead. He's certainly hanging in there, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I think he's definitely looking to try and take it to 5 sets. There's a nice little drop shot there too. So he's if he gets half a chance, I think he's going for it.
Alan Bailey's got to watch out here. He's really letting it slip by in a way. It's almost as if he's felt that he could win this when he needs to. And he's going to have to start mucking around with it.
Try and put some pressure on him, but Cameron's just hanging in there. So. Bit unlucky there, he got sort of an awkward angle and ended up hitting it back to himself. So,
Head out. 7-8.
so 7-8, so it's pretty close.
It's a bit of a relief there for Alan Bailey that the error came from Cameron Scott. The stroke playing the ball back at himself. Oh, couple of reaction shots.
Both players putting the ball up in the air, which I think I mentioned earlier that they're doing notice they're doing that a lot more in the PSA, the top events. Players are actually really using what I'd call all the court, including the space up in the area.
Bailey having to do a lot of running here, but he's almost back into it. Oh, the error there. I wouldn't call it a setup, but he certainly had the point.
Yes, definitely. It was a good opportunity for him to get that point and made the error, which.
Bailey was doing all the running. It's almost as if his game is Bailey's game is almost too relaxed.
Head out. 9-8.
Gives away that point.
Game ball, so it looks like your prediction was right. We could end up with this fifth set.
I don't like having predictions like that come true. It's been entertaining. And let's see. Bailey with his slightly unorthodox shots there. But Cameron Scott, you've got to give him plenty of credit, just hanging in and forcing the errors out of Alan Bailey.
And that's sort of a consolidation down this backhand wall here.
That came off.
Yeah, it came off. Get it.
Oh, there you go. We're going 5, folks. It is the rule of the final match of the night to go 5, and it is. Cameron Scott out of the Kandala Club against Alan Bailey out of Squashton in Palmerston North.
I was going to say it. I don't think either of you really yeah, let's just not make it 10. Standard day night.
15 seconds.
Don't forget to that 2 minutes. Don't forget to that 2 minutes. Consider that. He's injured, I need 3 minutes. I'm happy with it.
And we're back in now for this, the 5th and final set of the final match of the night. This is day 1 of the Oliver Sport NZ Classic. And this match, well, it's almost a classic. Alan Bailey there from Manawatu up against Wellington's Cameron Scott. And does this remind you, Jason Fletcher, of Interclub?
Oh, the last game of the night going to the 50s here. We did predict at the start that this could be a close game because both players were seated close together, and it seems to be the case. So it'll be interesting to see who can come out sort of early in this 5th set and get a good start and a bit of a lead.
Well, the winner of this contest, and we really have no idea who it's going to be, will take on Chris van der Sam in the quarterfinals tomorrow. That'll be interesting. He won his match in straight, and obviously this one going to 5. And there's that little choppy scoop from Alan Bailey. And
point awarded to Cameron Scott.
Yeah. He was a bit close. I think he was probably going to wear a racket somewhere on his body on that one.
Yeah, the referees are pretty strict on those sort of decisions nowadays. Well, it's a nice drop shot there by Alan, yeah.
Quite rigid when he hit the ball, but it's very effective though.
Well, it's a good volley. That's that proactive approach. That, I think would suit him better if he can keep doing that for the rest of the set.
Cameron Scott trying to keep Alan Bailey at the back of the court. Good little bit of depth.
Good bit of deception. He's gone for it there.
Yeah.
Well, he sort of got away with it a bit too, I think. So he sort of missed it, but Alan couldn't quite sort of capitalise on that miss. That's a nice little drop shot. He's sort of a frame, but
yeah, he's getting a little bit tangled up in himself, Cameron Scott, to a certain extent. So if Alan Bailey can try and go forward like he did for his couple points there, that will help out. It seems that his natural game is... Oh, no, that's okay. Oh, that was a solid shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty aggressive shot there for Cameron, and also wanted to make the most of that loose ball.
So Jason Fletcher, as we just check on this point here, the big clubs in the central region, which club is the biggest?
So Squash Gym's got the most courts. I'm not sure if they've got the most members, but KP, Squash Gym and Wanganui are sort of the bigger clubs in the region. And but some of the smaller clubs are doing really well. Like some of the country clubs I know of doing great with the 2 court clubs that are pretty much chocker full of members, which is great to see. And it's almost like some of the clubs I've been to like being like it was in the old days, which is great for those communities.
Nice play from Cameron Scott again.
4-3.
And at the clubs, a lot of, you see quite often squash courts associated with rugby clubs or golf clubs. Is that the case in the central region, or are they quite often standalone?
Mainly standalone, actually, right. Yeah, most of the clubs there are standalone, a couple of exceptions, but yeah, most of them are standalone, which is sort of...
I mean, it's good if they can stand on their own 2 feet, and in some smaller towns have good proactive committees and people like that. You know, I guess it's very much a family thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think needing some really good volunteers to support the clubs, and which is a harder thing these days in all sport. And if you can get those really good volunteers, it can keep things running. It's great, and it's a lot of us like to put something back into the sport. So if it helps the club and helps grow the game, which is a great little boast. I think Cameron's really starting to feel that really a bit.
Well, neither player are able to really take the advantage in this, the 5th. It's been pretty much point. There was a lot of running there for Cameron Scott, though, on that occasion. Oh, this time Alan Bailey having to do the running, and he's played it back himself.
5-4.
Yeah, probably a sign of a bit of fatigue there, actually. Sort of knocking the ball back to yourself like that, and probably overstretched a wee bit, so couldn't sort of get a clean shot away.
Oh, it's a dink, and the ball coming back to him, plays it off the body. So once again, we're going point for point. It's almost as if each player is waiting for the opposition to, can you fall over?
We didn't probably take advantage of that like he could have,
Yeah.
but there's another one. Can he take advantage of this one? Put some pressure on.
Oh, a lot of running from Alan Bailey, still in the rally.
Oh, it's still going.
Great rally.
Sounds like there's plenty of support out there for Alan too. It's sort of the crowd's going wild, as they say.
Yeah. Well, there was some great running, and let's see what he can do in this one. We've only ever had 1 point the advantage in this, the 5th. He's set himself up for more running, and again.
Yep, point for point again.
Well,
So he's still smiling though. So
I don't know what that was, and let's hope we don't see that camera angle again. That's good. We had the front-on camera angle rather than that one from the side. And
7-6.
Alan Bailey with 7-6. Let's see what he can do with the backhand serve here.
oh, recovered. Oh, great shot. He's doing the head fake and looking for good measure, but
7-all.
once again we're point for point, and
Not up. Not up. Stop.
And they haven't quite heard it yet, but they just want to keep on playing.
We're trying to get you. We were trying to tell you. It's double. Sorry, we were trying to tell you. It's double.
I know that running.
Front corner.
I know, right? Take a break.
Well, that was entertaining. Even if the point was over, they still decided they wanted to keep on playing. If they could play 10 sets, these two would.
Nice little drop shot there, yeah.
9-7.
Oh, there we go. We've got 2 points. Finally, we've got 2 points. Doesn't mean anything, but that is a 2-point lead for the first time in this actual 5th game. Let's see what can happen here. And no matter what, whoever wins this is going to play Chris van der Sar if they can make it. I'm sure Chris will be quite happy. Get a little bit tangled up there in the middle. Let's see what we can do there. Good change of direction. Oh, didn't reach. No, not quite. Even if he does win through to tomorrow's quarterfinal, Cameron Scott's about 3 dives. There we go. We've got the mop out. The towel. And the 1 point advantage again. It's been entertaining, Jason Fletcher.
Oh, it certainly has, and it always is when you get close matches, and seen plenty of action. And
I mean, they may not be the top seeds, but it's been entertaining, and the people that have stuck around, there's a few of them too.
Yeah, there is. Yep.
Have been entertaining. Yeah.
Oh, another great drop shot.
This is the first match ball of
10-8 match ball
of this contest to get through the quarterfinals. And Cameron Scott from Wellington up against the Manawa 2's Alan Bailey. Let's see whether he can finish it off. Drop. Nope.
Another dive.
Yep. That one.
Seen 3 or 4 of those.
9-10 match ball.
And still the match ball. As Alan Bailey remains in the match. Jamming his racket against the wall there.
He's lit.
And they're going to let. No, they do not want to stop this match.
9-10 match ball.
And it is a second game ball still for Cameron Scott.
Good high lob. Great shot to finish it off.
Well, that is a nice shot as well. Bailey stuck to the corner. I'm not coming out of this corner. And well done, Cameron Scott. That was fun. It was entertaining. Late night entertaining on the squash court here. He goes through Cameron Scott to take on Chris van der Sar tomorrow. Let's see how he rocks up after that one. So thank you very much there, Jason Fletcher. That is our last match of the night. That is day 1 of the Oliver Sport NZ Classic. A lot of entertainment to finish up, and well done to all players today. We're back tomorrow. Live streaming begins at 9 o'clock, the quarterfinals from 10:20, and the semi-finals later on in the afternoon and into the evening.